Hi there, I'm Machine Pun Kelly, aka MPK, and today is the second in a series where I'm talking about how Donald Trump is destroying the economy. So let's talk about tariffs. Some people will ask, why are tariffs only bad when Trump does them? And the answer is that it's not that Trump is using them, it's how Trump is using them that is at issue. Think of them like fire. Fire is a useful tool, but it can be destructive if you don't use it correctly. It's great when you want to grill up some burgers, but you don't want to burn down your house so that you can grill up a few burgers. Trump's implementation of worldwide tariffs, with massive tariffs on our allies, are reckless, and that's the issue. So how can tariffs hurt us? First, they hurt us by adding to the cost of goods. Let's take a look at how. This is Bob. Bob runs Bob's Import and Export Company, and he has a $100,000 shipment of thingamajigs come into the port with a 10% tariff. And he has to pay U.S. Customs and Border Protection $10,000 before his thingamajigs are released from that port. Bob can sell his thingamajigs only after they have been released. This is Paul. He is the owner and operator of the franchise Paul Mart. He buys Bob's thingamajigs at a 10% markup to offset the tariffs. Paul can then pass on some or all of that markup to his customers. But the end customer will almost always bear at least some of that extra cost. The other thing tariffs can affect is manufacturing. Remember, half of all our imports are used to manufacture other things. These are called intermediate goods. To help explain, this is Larry. Larry is the owner of Larry's Tables and Chairs. He makes and sells chairs and tables. He buys his lumber from Bob, who gets it from Canada. And there's a 25% tariff on the lumber. So Larry has the cost of his lumber go up by 25%. To keep the math easy, let's say that it used to cost Larry $100 to make a table, with $50 going to the lumber and the other $50 covering the other costs like labor. That means his cost to make a table just went up $12.50. So Larry sells the table to Paul, who splits the difference and marks up the cost $6.25. Once again, the customer ends up bearing a higher cost. All of this has several negative effects on the economy. First, the tariffs could raise prices anywhere from 4 to 7%. Because they raise prices, consumers can buy less. That means lower consumption and lower GDP. Trump's current tariffs could mean a long-term contraction of anywhere from 1 to 6.8%, according to Wharton. This also means investments go down. Manufacturers are reluctant to invest in new manufacturing with the costs raised. This is only likely to be magnified by Trump's seemingly whimsical approach to tariffs. Nobody wants to spend 25% more on something that is only going to cost less the next day. Estimates are that investments could take a 5 to 10% hit. It also means higher unemployment. Larry had to lay off some workers because he had to slow production, because he didn't want to buy too much lumber ahead of schedule due to his uncertainty about when the tariffs are going to be lifted. And Paul had to lay off a few workers to offset the cost of the tariffs he was eating. The estimates are that Trump's tariffs could bump unemployment up from 4 to 5 or even 6%. Coupled with the inflation we already discussed, this means we could have stagflation. Furthermore, it can mean retaliatory tariffs, or even that other countries just don't buy our products at all. This is what is happening in Canada. That cuts into our export, which in turn makes our net exports go down. Finally, these tariffs have a high reverse multiplier of 1.5 to 2.5 because so much of the cost is borne by the consumer. Tariffs are effectively a regressive tax, meaning that the less money you make, the higher percentage of your income goes toward paying them. This is the opposite of what stabilizers are intended to do. It means the worse the recession gets, the harder it will be on the poor and working class, and the harder it will be to recover. Once again, I'm Machine Pun Kelly, aka MPK, and don't forget to click like and subscribe. If you want to keep up with the other videos in this series, just bookmark the It's the Economy playlist.